At the beginning of the pandemic, while we were all rotting away in our houses, I decided to finally watch Star Wars. Of course, I knew the premise of George Lucas's space fantasy tale. A young man named Luke Skywalker, armed with a mystical force, is sent on a mission to help a princess, and on the way he discovers that his father is the most evil man in the galaxy, and he fights him with a laser sword. That was the extent of my knowledge, so I decided to finally give the series the chance it deserved. I got my popcorn and sat down with my father for a whole weekend to watch all 9 episodes, back to back. My overall rating was, it was okay, but there was one character in the saga that really resonated with me. The grandson of darkness, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is a really captivating character. Of course, he is played by the beautiful Adam Driver, but he is also an extraordinarily complex character for the series. He has a fascinating look at the inner conflict of an archetypal young villain. And part of what makes Kylo so interesting is his costume design. His various outfits, helmet, lightsaber, and character design all do a magnificent job of telling the audience a lot about this character's inner conflict, aspirations, and thought process, without him having to say a word. And that is the mark of good metaphoric costume design. Costumes can be designed to fulfill a multitude of purposes, but the goal of all good costume design is to help tell the story. Take Rey's costume in The Force Awakens. Her outfit was constructed for 3 main reasons: environment, practicality, and retrospection. Environment. She is from a desert planet and has never left, so she dresses in a way that is appropriate for that setting, meaning her outfit is highly versatile. It utilizes thin and breathable fabrics and has a rugged, worn-out exterior, perfect for a struggling scavenger on the move. Practicality. Daisy Ridley does a lot of running and physical activity in The Force Awakens, so she needs to be in an outfit that she can easily move in, to add dimension to her actions and the overall aesthetic of the scene. And finally, Rey is our protagonist for a new trilogy, so she needed to feel connected to the previous movies. They did this by having her dressed similarly to Luke in A New Hope. When we meet Rey, she is a young girl on a desert planet in a fully off-white getup and boots. We are instantly connecting her to Luke. When we first see Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, we are instantly reminded of his grandfather, Darth Vader, because of his face-shielding helmet and all-black attire. Kylo enters Jakku looking strong and menacing. I would describe his overall look in Episode 7 as some sort of dark phantom. There is a sense that Kylo is hiding something. Phantoms are evil beings that hide in the shadows, disguising and concealing themselves until they are ready to attack, just as Kylo hides behind the dark side and his garments. This is the movie where Kylo is the most covered up, physically and emotionally. He's wearing multiple layers, a long cape, a helmet, a large hood, and a cowl. He wants to seem secure, and his clothing acts as a security blanket. Hoods and face coverings are always significant in visual storytelling. A character doesn't just wear a hood for no reason. In Star Wars, hoods signify a darker change in a person or a loss of hope. In this trilogy alone, we see both Luke and Rey sporting hoods when they are going through internal conflict. Luke, because he has lost hope in the Force and the Jedi Order, and Rey when she has given up defeating the Emperor. Kylo's goal in The Force Awakens is to hide his past, hide his humanity. He wants to be seen as the dark side killing machine that he believed his grandfather to be. So he does everything in his power to mask the person he still is. His mask even has an unnecessary voice-altering device in it to give an even greater sense of distance between Kylo Ren, the Dark Phantom, and the man underneath. Kylo's costumes in The Force Awakens have a grandeur to them that subsides in the later film's character design. It feels like he is in a costume, playing the part he believed he is destined to play. He is dressing for the job he wants. This idea of theatrics and wearing a costume is pushed further when Kylo finally reveals himself to Rey in the interrogation. In this scene, he purposefully is trying to tone down his supervillain exterior because he wants Rey to empathize with him. It's a brilliant move in manipulation. By removing the helmet, we get to see Kylo for the human he is. He isn't the scary or disgusting omen of death that we would expect from a man in a mask. He looks like a prince. Kylo is a Disney prince, literally and figuratively. He is literally the son of Princess Leia, making Ben Solo a prince in the now Disney-owned franchise. But he also looks and acts like a prince, and is very subtly painted as one throughout the trilogy. When you look at the costume design of other classic Disney princes and compare them to Kylo, there are some major similarities. When we first see Adam Driver's face, his hair is styled to perfection, with small curls and volume. His skin and lips look soft and healthy. Kylo is a man in his prime. He is young and in great physical shape. We, the audience, and Rey, are supposed to be stunned by his attractiveness. In the commentary of The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams describes the movie as a fairy tale, complete with a princess, castle, forbidden forest, and a dark prince. If we look more closely at Kylo's costume design in The Last Jedi, we can see it takes a lot of inspiration from royal medieval dress. His costume consists of a black tunic, a wide waist belt, and tall, heavy boots. He sports an open cape, similar to what we would think a Disney prince might wear, as he rides on horseback to save the princess. To understand Kylo's original character design for Episode 7, we have to discuss his greatest inspiration, Darth Vader. Now, it is clear that Vader was at the front of the costume designer's mind when creating Kylo. But there are some distinct differences in how these characters' all black, face covered, and red lightsaber wielding outfits make us feel. Kylo is a phantom, hiding himself physically and emotionally, whereas Darth Vader is a death machine. His costume lacks any sense of humanity. The armor looks shiny and plastic, and you can see from the outside that there is machinery and wires running through it. It is cold and technological. Vader's costume is symmetrical and rigid, where Kylo's is more free-flowing, constantly changing as he moves. Comparing their introductions, Kylo is dynamic, Vader is stoic. You can still see Kylo as a person, not a stagnant object like Vader. It's hard to visualize Vader as a person. His suit keeps us from seeing his humanity in any form, which is part of why Luke's commitment to seeing Vader as a good human being is so powerful. Also, Vader needed his mask to survive. His armor is literally part of him. Without the dark side, he is nothing. Whereas Kylo wears his mask as a performance. He is putting up a facade. He wants to appear more aligned with the dark side than he really is. Kylo doesn't need the dark side. He just wants it. Masks are a bit of a theme for Star Wars costume design. Something I picked up on very quickly in Episode 7 is how all three of our new main characters are introduced to us in masks. Finn, a stormtrooper, Rey when she is scavenging, and Kylo when he is walking off his ship in Jakku. This indicates that all of these characters are not who they seem to be under these masks. Finn is not a nameless, obedient soldier for an evil dictator. Rey is not a worthless scavenger. And Kylo is not our big bad guy. And he is no Darth Vader. Kylo's helmet becomes a symbol of his redemption. Every time he takes off his helmet, he gets closer to becoming Ben Solo again. The first time we see Kylo without the mask is when he takes it off for Rey when he is interrogating her. Kylo loves to take his mask off for Rey because we are supposed to relate his connection with Rey to his redemption arc. He shows his emotional and physical humanity when he is around Rey. Kylo also takes the mask off when he kills his father, the moment that splits Kylo's soul, and is the catalyst for the eventual breakdown of the Kylo Ren persona. In The Last Jedi, Kylo is slowly deteriorating. His connection to Rey grows stronger, and he is haunted by his loved ones of the past. After an altercation with his master, Snoke, Kylo destroys the mask in a fit of self-hatred-fueled rage. And I thought the masked part of Kylo's life was over. He chose to let his pain show, deciding to not hide his inner conflict, but put it on full display. He is separating himself from his past as much as possible, and that past now includes trying to emulate his hero, Vader. Of course, I was wrong, and we see the return of the mask at the start of The Rise of Skywalker. Kylo's decision to resurrect the mask is him trying to display visually his choice at the end of Episode 8 to fully commit to the dark side. However, we know that is not the case. When Kylo puts his mask back on, it is covered in jagged red lines that look like veins or blood drops, showing that Kylo is broken and is trying to conceal it, but failing. The red cracks of the Episode 9 mask are reminders that Kylo's persona has irreversible cracks in it. He will never be entirely connected to the dark side, no matter how much he tries to play the part. The return of the mask is the return of Kylo playing a role. It's a costume, a shell. The red is also a reminder of the bloody path that Kylo Ren has forged, not only hurting others, but also himself in the process. The final moment we get with Kylo in the mask is his confrontation with Rey, where he exposes her true parentage. He tries the same manipulation tactic he utilized in The Force Awakens, but this time it doesn't work. Rey sees right through the cracks in this mask. She rejects him once again and brings him one step closer to becoming Ben Solo again. Kylo Ren's lightsaber is my favorite example of visual storytelling in all of Star Wars. His saber is riddled with metaphor. Like the weapons of all dark-side users before him, Kylo's lightsaber is fiery red in color. A saber gets a vibrant red color from making a kyber crystal, the source of power for all lightsabers, bleed. Kylo's saber doesn't just bleed red, it rages. His saber doesn't have a calm and steady stream of light like all of the other weapons we see yield. It is crude and jagged, with sparks flying out, and the blade looks much more like a raging fire over a perfected beam of light. The saber feels like it is fighting itself, like it could implode at any second. Just like Kylo, who wears his fury as a proud badge, always ready to give in to rage. He and his saber are insecure. The raging fire also presents the idea that the saber was possibly constructed by an inexperienced hand. The canon actually gives us an answer for the rugged and unstable appearance of Kylo's blade. When Kylo was constructing his saber, the kyber crystal he used cracked while he was trying to make it bleed, showing that Kylo's allegiance with the dark side was never really solid to begin with. There were cracks in his decision from the beginning. Kylo's saber has another oddity to it. It has a crossguard base, with the fiery red light streaming from both sides. His saber's crossguard serves a dual purpose. It provides additional protection during combat and helps vent the excess energy generated by his unstable kyber crystal. The crossguard also changes the saber's aesthetic significantly. Other sabers we see have a futuristic look, whereas Kylo's has a very historic and medieval look. His saber mirrors the traditional European longsword, which is characterized by having a cruciform hilt with a grip for primarily two-handed use. It was prevalent during the late medieval and Renaissance periods. Kylo's saber also gives the appearance of being heavier than what you would expect from a weapon made of light. The way Adam Driver has Kylo wield his sword is in long and slow strokes, like the weapon is weighing him down. In comparison to how Ben Solo later swings his grandfather's saber in the final film, he is quickly flipping it around and is moving light as a feather. He is more relaxed and in the zone. Kylo's transformation back to Ben Solo has to be the best part of The Rise of Skywalker for me, and I think the costume design for Ben's character shift is tackled very nicely. Once Kylo speaks with his father and decides to turn back to the light, he makes a very finite decision of throwing his lightsaber into the ocean. Unlike the mask, there is no saving the saber. It is lost forever in the endless water. That is our final look at Kylo Ren. When we see Adam Driver again, he has emerged as Ben Solo, running to his final mission to save Rey and destroy the Emperor. His new costume design is simplistic, loose and cool, just like the new Ben. Ben has never looked more comfortable, in his outfit or in his own skin. Like his father's outfits before him, Ben looks relaxed and ready for action. He has stripped down to his most basic form. He is still in his signature color, but this time he's bathed in blue light. In Star Wars, blue is the key color of the light side. Keeping Ben in black helps to reinforce that he is still the balance to Rey in the Force. Him in black and her in white shows them in contrast, this time a yin and a yang. He has nixed all accessories. No cape, belt, jacket, or mask is needed anymore. This is the real Ben Solo. No more pretending. He has left the costume of Kylo Ren behind. Kylo's costume design is a perfect display of his changing emotional state. Clothes are a way of expression, and I often find myself changing how I walk, talk, and act when I put on different outfits. My emotions affect my wardrobe, but my wardrobe also affects my emotions. I think the same can be said for Ben Solo. He used clothing as a way to get into the character of Kylo Ren. I tip my hat to the sequel trilogy's costume team for perfectly using wardrobe as visual storytelling.